recipes for technical trading success in Cook's Kitchen.
Time to talk about bloated universities getting disrupted. This is a theme I've been on ever since I saw a webinar with John Sculley and Peter Diamandis. John Sculley, obviously the former CEO of Apple, was raging on this during March and April, saying, you know, universities have been building bloated systems for decades, and they're ripe for disruption. Well, it's happening all over. I missed a story that just exploded on us this past week, and Google actually teased this back in July, where they are offering 6-month certificates for about $300 that they will consider equivalent to a 4-year degree, and you will be sort of in their talent pipeline and be considered for a job. It's just amazing disruption right there. We're going to look at some of the other companies involved. Let's go. Let's take a look at Zacks Confidential. My Zacks Confidential from last week. Here was Tracy this week on Monday, August 31st. We're going to come back to her theme, housing as the secret bull market, because it sort of plays into this education theme. So here was me. I did a little thing I called the virtual economy. Digital, remote, intelligent, you know, not just workers. I'm looking at students too. And I quoted John Sculley talking about bloated universities and having to reinvent. Here was he's basically said they priced themselves out of the market and their judgment day has come. Well, their judgment day is here for universities, obviously, when so much can be done at home. And now Google, the 800-pound gorilla, just blasted onto the scene. One of my recommendations for education was 2U, only $2.5 billion company, and they actually help universities do more stuff online. So that was my pick of several. I also looked at Pluralsight, but Pluralsight was trading at like 6 times sales, whereas 2U was only trading at 3 times sales. All right, so let's take a look at what did Google do. So this was the announcement back July 13th. Kent Walker, I believe, is the senior VP of Global Affairs for Google. He announced a comprehensive new digital jobs program to help Americans get back to work. And slowly the details were being leaked out. Obviously, they'd had this plan for a while. And they call it Google Career Certificates to help Americans get high-paying, high-growth jobs in, you know, growing fields. No college degree required. What they're going to do is, if you complete the certificate in 6 months, they're going to treat it as if you have a bachelor's. He said, in our own hiring, we will now treat these new career certificates as the equivalent of a 4-year degree. I missed this when he tweeted this in July 13th. I'm surprised this was not front page news everywhere. And finally, we got more details of it in the past week here. And so I wanted to see, what have the stocks done? I'm gonna show you, Pluralsight. We've got Grand Canyon, New Oriental, Tal, Chegg. All right, let's see. Let me just show you where you can learn about a few more of these companies. So one of my colleagues wrote 4 stocks to watch as online education gains traction on August 12th. And they looked at Chegg. This Career Education Corp, it actually has a new name, and that's why it has a new stock symbol, PRDO. It's like Perdecchio or something. And GPX Systems. Chegg, what was interesting about Chegg is that used to be like the old textbook company. Okay, so here's Career Education Corp. You know, they've been doing stuff for decades, non-degree programs in IT and design. Then there's Chegg, which is adapted to the, beyond textbooks to offering more digital tools and tutoring. GP Strategies is the GPX here. And then Grand Canyon Education has been doing some stuff online for a while. So what have some of these companies done since? Well, so I've got a year-to-date chart here, and the leader up here is Pluralsight, and its valuation reflects that. 2U is right in there, as is Tal Education. And there was a big initiation from Jeffries today on both TAL and New Oriental EDU. Uh, what if I take, what if I drill this down to the past month? What have they done since Google announced, basically, since we knew that Google was going to do this? GP Strategies has taken off, and I don't know why. So that's one to definitely look at. Pluralsight is the laggard, and it probably has to do as much with valuation. 2U hanging in there, but actually I recommended it last week near 38. It was trading 43 yesterday. I think it's 42 today. So 2U is still my top pick there, but I've got to learn more about GP Strategies and see why they've taken off since Google's announcement. And here's Google up 11%. Grand Canyon has also done well, up 11.64%. New Oriental. And let me see if I can find the upgrade from, yeah, here it is. So this was from the fly this morning. New Oriental and TAL both initiated with a buy at Jeffries. And I just want to see some of the comments here. The analyst, John Chu, sees the names as long-term winners post-COVID-19, anticipating paradigm shifts in education consumption with greater online disruption, obviously, and more competition. TAL is his top pick in K through 12 after-school tutoring, or AST, with lean and mean attributes, superior online economics, and strong pricing power, and it has emerging B2B products. So I'm assuming, helping workers, providing for a corporation. Here's an education platform to upskill your workers. And New Oriental Education EDU he sees it as an education giant with strong positioning. Okay, so back to let me make sure I showed you. Yeah, so let's talk about Tracys Thesis here. I just got off a presentation she did for Zacks strategists, where she went into even more detail. She looked at the different hot markets, what she was hearing from the builder conference calls, and their earnings trajectories, what they're seeing in sales. The hot market right now is Boise, Idaho. People leaving New York and San Francisco, being able to work remotely, or moving to the Sun Belt because they can. So she talked about all the hot markets and gave us about 20 more slides than she has in here. But this one still is packed with data. So if you're not familiar with Zacks Confidential, it is like one of the best investment newsletter bargains on the planet. It's like $60 a year, and you get one of these reports from one of our strategists every Monday. And there's 10 of us doing this, so we get a couple of months to think about it. So she gave her top picks there, and so I want to show you one of the things she talked about is that she sees the housing boom as really just getting going. We're still in the early stages of a new housing boom, and it's not a bubble like 2005, 2006. And one of the data points that sort of confirmed for me that she was right on was this one, because she talked a lot about the millennials. One thing that Tracey said was the average age, like the sort of the central tendency right now for millennials is age 28. That's where the bulk of them are. Well, look at this from the Office for National Stats. Average age at first marriage. You can see after World War II, people started getting married younger. Obviously there was a war effect itself, but then as we come into the 50s and 60s, times are good. Average age, and males are always higher, got down, let's call it 23, we trough at in the early 70s. And now in 2017, we're up here to an average age between 30 and 32. And that's probably climbed, as you might suspect, if you have any kids in their 20s or 30s, and you've seen it around, or some, they're waiting, getting careers established first, putting off marriage and family. But so here's sort of the dynamite for not only a housing market boom, but an economic boom, because family formation is what drives economics, right? You get married, start a family, buy a house, buy a car, buy a refrigerator, furniture, etc. So if the average age or the bulk of millennials are around 28 and marriage is still 2 to 3 years away for them, you can see how this would drive the economics of a housing boom, etc. So I'll leave you with again, some of the stocks you want to look at here. 2U Pluralsight is PS, Grand Canyon as LOPE, GPX is GP Strategies, one I have to learn more about. New Oriental is EDU, TAL is TAL, obviously. Chegg, CHGG. And let me know if, leave in the comments on YouTube, if you know other education companies that we should be paying attention to here. But obviously, Google can disrupt universities, but they're not going to take down these other small private competitors who might have unique business models. And so, that's what we want to learn more about. All right. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. We'll talk to you next week.